everyone. It's actually quite a beautiful day. It's very hot outside in Tennessee. I guess I should really just be appreciating it because that's gonna be ending soon. We're bringing fall in, and honestly, I'm so happy about fall. I don't know if I've talked about this in my other videos, but I just appreciate it so much. I appreciate the seasons changing so much because honestly, like, I needed the winds to change real bad. Real bad. Anyways, if you've been watching my other videos, you've probably heard me complaining a lot about how I don't have any friends and I want friends because I'm lonely and I don't have any friends for that reason. Good news is, well, I didn't make any friends, but I guess you could say I bought one. Yay! Okay, so I went to Vegas to go visit my older sister who was graduating college down that way. And this meant so much to me that I got to witness her moment and everything, because my older sister did not get a high school graduation because of COVID. She graduated as a junior and she never got any type of ceremony or prom or anything because of everything that was happening, and no one really knew what was going on. No one really knew where to go from there, so it was a lot. And I was really excited because I did graduate this year from high school, and even me, I was still excited to see her graduate. It was still something I was waiting for. I even put my own cap and gown on her to get everyone hype. But for my sister's graduation, I was the only person in my family to show up. And I'm sure maybe those people did want to, but didn't know the effort was not made to show up. But I was very lucky to get to just see her walk across the stage and shine as bright as she did. I'm so proud of her. That's my princess. But yes, from Las Vegas, we were there for 2 days. And then we went to California. I've never been to California, so that was my first time in California. I wanted to vlog, but I didn't get as many like videos as I wanted to. Something kind of like threw me off while I was there. And a big thing that was like kind of weighing on my mind my entire vacation, trip, whatever, was everything that I was kind of dealing with at home. I would wake up every day feeling extremely anxious, and I wouldn't know why. And I was trying to describe to my sister what I was feeling. Every single day I would wake up, and it's like I would have this physical anxiety or this physical fear of something, and I would just race. My mind would race about what there is to possibly stress about. And I would just ponder, and it's like, it's not just worrying about things, it's trying to figure out what I need to worry about and then plan for it. And it's actually nonsense, and it makes you lose your mind. But I went to California for the first time with my sister and her girlfriend, and the first thing we did was go to the beach. And I haven't been to a beach since I lived in Hawaii. And I'm just gonna say, like, the beaches in Hawaii, like, Hawaii is so special to me because it's a big part of just my adolescence. And my mental health was really bad there. It was the first time I ever was sent away to a psychiatric hospital for help. It was just a very pivotal point for my journey because it was not the first time I gotten really bad, but it was the first time I had gotten help. It was the first time I tried to help myself, because getting help was one thing and then helping myself was a whole other. I could do a whole other video on what that fight was like, but if I do, I want it to be more so focused not just on my story, but just like what helped me, and also just like what's very normal to feel and think about yourself, and actions and habits to fall out of and have if you're struggling with depression, suicidal thoughts, anything like that. But my mental health was so bad, and right before I moved away, I used to meditate every single day, and I would sit down for 30 minutes or an hour or longer and just breathe and ground myself. And it helped me so much, and it helped me through the beginning or towards the end of my high school, because I moved out of Hawaii in the middle of my high school, like right when I was gonna start my junior year, and I was really scared for that, but it helped me change my thoughts and get more aligned with who I am today, and I'm a lot more positive about things, and I'm a lot healthier, and I'm so proud of myself for, like, you know, being able to get myself out of those spaces. But things at home have just been so stressful, and I haven't even known who to talk to them about. I think it's a big reason why I came back to YouTube again, because of course I have lots of YouTube channels. I have lots of YouTube channels, many YouTube channels, and I kind of create new ones a lot, kind of for no reason whatsoever. I'm using the word kind of a lot, sorry. It's just, I create YouTube channels a lot. I used to have a YouTube channel when I was younger, and it was just something I would do to post absolutely anything I was doing. And coming back to YouTube is one of those things. It's a coping skill for me. It helps me it's one of those things like journaling, where since I've done it when I was a kid, it's something I can connect with and just do for fun and not just for attention. Even though I love attention, but I have to stop asking for it and begging for it so much. I like to make videos to talk to people and to also reach people who might feel as lonely as I do. And I think when I sat down on the beach in California, I could not talk because immediately I wanted to cry. I sat down on the blanket and towel, and I crawled up into a ball, and I put my head down, and I was trying not to cry in front of my sister and her girlfriend. And I started crying in secret while their backs were turned and they were hugging in front of me, because I just couldn't get away from this anxiousness, and I couldn't ignore it. Finally, I'm able to find my voice, and I tell my sister, I ask her, I say, hey, can we just stand in the water and just cry for a second? I just want to cry and talk for a little bit. And she was like, yeah, honestly, she said she was trying not to get emotional too. So we stood there and we talked, and I told her that I felt like I was always trying to figure out what there was to worry about. I can't really tell you if there was any conclusion that came from that conversation, but I will say that feeling, of course, it didn't go away just because we had this really good talk. I am gonna say that I didn't want this car to park next to me. Fuck this car. But I am gonna say that during this trip, I was with my sister for about 5 days, which means I was away from home for 5 days. A lot of my struggles and anxieties come from my home life and how I navigate it and how I cope with it. And being away from all of that, especially as someone who freshly graduated high school, being away from all that and seeing the world open up. Because, I come from a really small town, and of course there are things in this town, but it's really only the essentials. Only the essentials, and then what a person from a small town would deem impressive, like Raising Cane's. It's so hard. I tried In-N-Out for the first time while I was out there. I was so hyped for it. I was so hyped, and honestly, I tried it, and I was like, I gotta make this at home. But, my world opened up, and being in California, I've always wanted to go to California. It's one of those places I have to go to California one day, and it's one of those places I've always wanted to live, because that's where famous people live. And then I was there, and I just had the same feeling of these people, I feel like I can't relate to them, or I feel like even if I were to move to California, I wouldn't find anyone here who gets me or who sees me in the way I want to see myself. And I would just see people passing by who had that effortlessness that I have been trying to achieve for years, which is so humiliating because it's supposed to be effortless. But you ever just see that about people, and it's like you're not trying at all, but you're like perfect. I'm most jealous of the people who seem like they go through life without any inner dialogue and they're just thriving. I've spent so much of my life overthinking my actions, overthinking the way I look, how I feel, and mostly because of just how I grew up and growing up in like kind of abusive households. But I overthink everything, I question everything, and it feels horrible. And I've definitely gotten more comfortable with my anxieties, but even in California, I just had this feeling of just like I wouldn't fit in here, and that sucked. And my older sister had asked me a question while we were standing in the water. She asked me, without everything going on at home, what's your dream? Like, what do you want? And I literally I told her it sucks. It's really sad because when I was 16 and 17, you could go through my journals and I used to dream so big. Even one of my 17-year-old goals, I had made a sexy 17 list. One of them was to go to California, and it was such a big deal for me to be there at 18, even on just a little trip. But I told my sister, it sucks because I don't know how to have those big dreams and tell myself that anything is possible, and the only person stopping me is myself. I only know how to give the most realistic plan to you. I can't even dream if I wanted to. All I know is how to I don't know. And maybe that's just one of those things that come with aging and going from high school to adulthood, is you kind of disillusion yourself from the idea of adulthood and what it actually is in your experience. But I'm a very creative person. A lot of my creativity stems from what a big daydreamer I am. It's very hard for me to just stay grounded and participate in the world because I like to daydream a lot. I like to write songs about things. I like to create stories. I like to write poetry and paint, and it's so hard for me to just accept that those are the things that don't make up life. And if I want to survive and live a comfortable life, which is the only thing I value as someone who comes from a chaotic household, if I want those things that were robbed or stripped of me when I was younger, I have to give up the things that helped me survive this long, That's what's striking me. But, Cali was fun. Cutwaters and pizza. That's all I have to say. We go back to Vegas, and I will say, California, I brushed over it. The spots, the views, even though it sounded like I took it for granted, it's beautiful there. It's so beautiful. I know last time you were talking about some Jeff's Burgers. And it was the perfect resting spot. I saw it as the perfect resting spot instead of a living place, because I've lived a lot of places. So as a military kid, of course I lived in Hawaii, and even me, I feel like I didn't appreciate it enough, but I've lived there and I realized that I only want to visit again. I never want to live there again, especially just because I don't belong there. But yeah, it's just one of those ideas. It's beautiful there. And when we left, I wanted to get a tattoo, my first ever tattoo. And originally when we went into the tattoo shop, they said they were taking no more walk-ins, and this place had $10, $20 flash tattoos. And I was looking at the list they had, and they had a stick figure. I was gonna get a stick figure on my arm right here, randomly placed on my arm, so that if I ever felt lonely, I could just hang out with this little stick figure friend and draw a little house for him, because one of my big goals is getting myself an apartment, and I'm just so stressed about moving out, because it's not because I have to get an apartment because I want to move out so badly. It's like, oh my God, like I have to get an apartment because no one's really there for me right now. I just want to feel secure and I want to have a friend. And so I was going to get a little stick figure, but I was looking at the list a little longer and I ended up with a unicorn. It's a Tokidoki unicorn. At least it looks like it to me. That's what drew me to it. So yeah, I got this little unicorn tattoo. None of my parents haven't noticed it since I've been back. It's not like I've been hiding it. I've been wearing like short sleeve stuff around the house, and it's just there. My older sister has a shooting star, and I just decided to get the unicorn because, you know that one movie, I Believe in Unicorns? I also just love unicorns in general. They're just so mystical to me. I'm a unicorn. I identify as a unicorn. And I also do very much believe in unicorns. So, and it's also like, my name is Nadia. So in school one day I remember we were doing a project where you had to like research an animal, but the first letter of that animal had to start with the first letter of your name. And there are no animals that start with the letter N. Like, try to think of one right now. And so eventually I ended up researching, and the only animal I could find was narwhal. And I've just been so connected to narwhals because they're like the only animal with the letter N that I know of. I'm probably missing a lot. But yeah, narwhals are pretty lit. I'm a unicorn, for real. But yeah, right before I got this tattoo, we had to wait till like the next day. So we got it in the morning right before like my flight. They said it was gonna be a little bit of a wait, and they only took cash. So we walked to a 7-Eleven. That was pretty close. And right next to a 7-Eleven was a crystal shop, and I never pass up on crystal shops. I love crystals. I have a whole rock collection. I do. And I just looked around for like stuff that I like. I just wanted to find something that I felt drawn to. That's kind of how I go into crystal shops. I'm like, I don't know what I came in here for, but I'm here for a reason. Show me what it is. And I left with a friend. I left with Juju. This is Juju. Juju is my voodoo doll, I guess. Not really though. I'm gonna wait for this white family to go real quick. My window is down too, like they heard that. They're right next to me, like what is wrong with me? But anyways, yeah, they're gone. This is Juju, my new friend. You put a little scroll or piece of paper with your manifestation on it in this pocket in the back, and then you kind of just carry her around. She's a keychain, so you can put her on your bag. I had her on my bag. I got a new bag. I got a new bag while I was in Cali. Call me a tourist, bitch. Fuck it. I love it. It's so cute. It even has this little pocket. And it opens. Who doesn't love that? But yes, this little pin, this is like a pin, like a little sewing pin. It wasn't her hand originally, and you can put it on her heart to symbolize starting your journey. So I got her at that crystal shop, and then I went and got this tattoo, and then I was on my way back. If I had taken anything away from that trip, I think it would have been to just please, pretty please, just focus on your plans. Write them down in great detail. Talk about them to yourself and romanticize them as much as you can. Oh my god, this car is about to pull up fucking next to me. And then don't do anything that strays away from it. How about that? Stick to what you want, and remember that everything you stress about, make sure that it actually has to do with you. Because I was realizing everything that I was stressed about, all of my anxieties, I was worried about shit that had nothing to do with me, and I was worried about lives that weren't even mine. Like, I'm so stressed about life, and then I realized, wait, these aren't your responsibilities. These aren't shit you have to worry about. Why are you worried? Worry about you. What do you got going on? And then when you actually get down to the nitty gritty of it, you realize I actually am thriving in everything I was worried about. it's probably out of my control. And for the things that are out of my control, the only thing I can do for it is prepare for it, I guess. And that's what Juju's here for. I felt really lonely when I went to Las Vegas. When I got on that plane, I would go into every room just scanning it for people my age, trying to see who would want to talk to me, or just hoping people would talk to me. And I think when I went there, I left and I felt more like, I felt more okay. I don't know. I feel more like I don't need to like take any friend who comes in my way. I don't know. It feels more like I have to just get out of here. I have to get out of this small town, guys. I really hope that one day I have a YouTube video where I made it, you know? I hope there's a video that I post where I made it and I'm just in a different town in my own apartment talking to myself. Because that's the dream. That's my American dream. That's all I want. But yeah, this is Juju.